والنظرية اللي بتقول إنه حجم ومساحة الدولة بحدد التطور والنمو التعليمي والبحثي والعلمي هي نظرية مش دقيقة كتير، وهيدا اللي أثبتته جمهورية إستونيا. للتحدث أكثر حول هذا الموضوع بيسعدنا أنه يكون معنا معالي الدكتورة كريستينا كلاس، وزيرة التعليم والعلوم لدى جمهورية إستونيا. Good morning, Your Excellency, and
Good
welcome
morning.
to Dubai.
Thank you very much.
This is your first visit here, right?
Indeed. This is my first visit in the region in general and definitely
Amazing.
in Dubai. So.
And is it a short trip or a long trip?
Unfortunately, this time it's rather short, just 2 working days, but very full working days. So I hope to see a lot and learn a lot.
Your Excellency, you've been appointed as the Minister of Education and Science on 17th of April 2023. I'm curious to know, when I was preparing for this episode and learning more about Estonia, and thanks to you, I got to know more about this beautiful country. I saw this blend of Baltic and Nordic, of handmade and high-tech, of all this, like, it's a small population, but they really did a lot. What's your role or the focus area as the Minister of Education and Science, given all this beautiful blend?
Mm-hmm. I think Estonia is one of the unique countries in the world. Maybe Latvia is similar to us, where our education system, including education system in our native language, which is spoken by just 1 million people in Estonian, is older than our state.
Oh, wow.
So the education was there first. The schools were there, universities were there, they were operating before actually the state came into being. So the state is fairly new. The education is very old and very traditional, culturally ingrained in Estonian culture. So you have this blend of very old traditional thing of Estonian education and then extremely modern state, yes, because Estonian state is relatively new compared to most of the European countries around us. And culturally, indeed, we are in the border between the Baltic and between the Nordic. We may be a bit more Nordic than Baltic. Yes. But our reality is that we live in the middle of fairly large nature reserve, because yes, Estonian territory is more than half covered with a forest, with a very deep forest. And so everything related to climate is very, yes, sensitive to us as well, if you understand from that point.
Actually, it's also another curiosity I have. Do you still play handball?
I think I'm a bit too old for that, but I do play beach handball in the summer with my friends when there are competitions. But I used to play long time in my life. It was when I was a teenager. It was quite a focus, yeah, in my life at that time.
And you're still currently the president of the Estonian Handball Association, right?
Yes, I am. Okay. I am president, and I'm dealing with our handball teams regularly.
Amazing, amazing. Your Excellency, your visit to Dubai, one of the main things you have on your agenda is to attend GITEC's EdTech conference. What do you aim to achieve out of this engagement, like in terms of innovation, new ideas of education and science? What's your main objective?
I'm mainly driven by curiosity, because in Dubai here, the readiness to take up new innovations and new technologies is very similar to my country, that we are open, we are very ready. We think that progress is something that we all need to look forward, yes, not to be afraid of. So I'm here because I'm very curious about how your country, how Emirates and how Dubai is organizing the education system using technologies. We know that in the modern world, artificial intelligence is here to stay and to be part of also of education system. So I'm very curious, what do you do here in the education system, and how we in Estonia are adjusting or integrating artificial, yeah, intelligence into education system and technologies and digitalization in general? Because young generation, do we like it or not?
Yes.
But they are digital. They are digital and they are very techno savvy. So yes, they like technology, their life and their progress depends on technology. And I think education is a main area where we need to be aware of, yes, of that reality and integrate it, not to push it out, because if we push technology out of education, then I don't think education will be attractive, yes, to the younger generations. So they will not be happy to go to school.
Yes.
If the school is not something that is very modern in their lives.
Exactly, and I think what happened during COVID even enhanced further the usage of technology.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, Your Excellency, the young generation, got used to that for almost a year.
Absolutely, and countries here were different. We in Estonia, we were very easy to adapt to the pandemic reality of switching from classroom teaching to the virtual teaching, and it was very smooth. Even surprising to us that it was very smooth transition. But I think the important element in there is your mindset.
Yes.
Whether you believe that education is something more than just sitting in a classroom between teacher and student, but that the technology is there to enhance your capacities to educate yourself. And I believe that in this country here in Dubai, the mindset is the same.
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward to exchanging the future perspectives of how we will do that together.
Mentioning the exchange of future perspective, as you kindly outlined, Your Excellency, what is the main collaborative projects between the regions you can share with us in terms of education, science, anything you would like to share with the audience?
We signed in 2022, we signed bilateral agreement between our countries about the innovation in education. So the agreement is there,
Wonderful.
The willingness to cooperate is there. And I'm also here to put content into that agreement. What exactly are the initiatives that we start between two countries in innovation of education? We have a business council, bilateral business council that is operating already for 2 years. They are regularly meeting. There are very active business contacts.
Sorry to interrupt, Your Excellency. This is the UAE Estonian Business Council.
Yes, it's a UAE Estonia Business Council where the companies are interacting. And we have Estonian stand here in GITEX with Estonian companies, among them big companies, but also startups and also educational technology companies that are very interested in dealing with and finding a foot here in UAE to cooperate in the area of education as well.
Your Excellency, you're forward-thinking. What's your recommendation for further even enhancing this partnership between both countries?
I think just, meeting together, talking, having as many meetings as possible is the main basis, communicating, right? Not just signing documents, but communicating and visiting and coming here, meeting the companies, meeting the politicians, the leaders of this country, and agreeing on a future cooperation is, I think, the essential part of it. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why I'm here to talk to your leaders, to your companies. I'm bringing many Estonian companies who are interested in cooperating. So this is, I think, human to human is still something that is very important, I think, in enhancing this. And as I said, because I believe that our mindsets are in the same place. We see the future very similar when it comes to even climate, educational technologies, artificial intelligence, and the role of technology in general in human progress. Then I think we are in a very good place to continue from here in a very tight cooperation.
Yeah, I think what combines us is the mix of traditions and innovation and future thinking. Both of them are of high value to both countries. Your Excellency, if I may, I would like to go back to Estonia. You were telling me before we started this interview about schools made of wood in Tallinn. And given now COP28, is there a sustainability, all of this, which preserves the environment? I would like to know more about this thing.
Yes, this school year, we opened a brand new school in the capital city of Tallinn for more than 1,000 students. That is fully constructed of wood. It's a wood construction, but it's a very modern architecture. It's not, as you imagine, this old wooden hut in the Nordic forest. No, it's an extremely modern building. And if you look at it, you wouldn't suspect, but it's made fully of wood. And this is Estonian traditional architecture because most of our houses historically are made of wood. And we are bringing back the traditional style of our construction, but at the same time doing it in a very modern way. And we do believe in Estonia that it's not only about the curriculum and the teachers that make good education, it's also the building in which the students study. It has to be modernly inspiring students as an environment. So I'm very much inviting you to Tallinn to see this building and to have a look at it, how it looks like.
To visit. Absolutely. Yes. I'm actually even more curious now to visit. Your Excellency, also, as we said in the introduction, that Estonia combines the tradition with future thinking, the medieval with the modern. In terms of language, 1 million people speak Estonian. And I know there's a project in school to move almost 1/3 of the teachings into back to Estonian, right?
Yes.
So if you can tell us about this, this is very interesting project.
Yes, during the Soviet occupation times, we had 1/3 of our education system that was made operating in Russian language.
Yes.
And it's a little bit problematic for us because we have two separate education systems. We have Estonian language education system and then the Russian language education system. And we made a decision last year that we are integrating them together and switching the Russian language schools into Estonian language of instruction. I think it's quite a unique and rather large reform of switching 1/3 of education system into a different language of instruction. And I think if we succeed in this, and I hope we succeed in this, we have again an innovation in education, something that we can also teach to the rest of the world. How do you do that? How you preserve a language that is 1 million speakers and you still manage to keep the top level world education in that. Of course, everybody knows that in English, it's easy to do in English, right? Because you have all the world resources available for you to keep the top level education. But to do it, a world top education in a language that is spoken by 1 million people is a hard job, but it's very important to us to keep our language and our traditions. It's very important. We are ready to invest a lot of resources and energy into that, definitely.
It's very important, actually, this combination to be open to the world, but preserve the identity. It's very warm to the country.
It is very important. Otherwise, we would all be the same, English speakers. But I think that the diversity of our cultures and our world is something that we need to preserve. And for Estonianness and the whole identity of being an Estonian, language is an essential part of it. So you have to speak that language in order to be able to identify yourself as an Estonian. And that's why I think the school education reform of giving this possibility to everybody to feel Estonian and to be proud of being Estonian is something
especially
that we are
the young generation to be raised with this mentality.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's very important.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for being with us today and wishing you a very successful trip here.
Thank you for your invitation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about my country.